In the spirit of bright goodwill, we here at the Andrew Klavan Show occasionally try to improve understanding between conservatives and left-wingers so that conservatives don't get so angry all the time and grab some annoying leftist by the throat and strangle him into semi-consciousness, then seize his limp body by the heels and hold him upside down and slam his head repeatedly into the sidewalk. That's what we're trying to prevent from happening. So I find it sometimes a good idea to try to explain what left-wingers mean to say when they speak in those annoying little squeaky girly girl voices they have, if they're men. If they're women, their voices are more like car alarms. Anyway, here to ease the tension is the latest edition of the Lefties Dictionary, the reference work that explains what the people who don't know what they're talking about are talking about. Let's begin with the phrase Supreme Court. To most of us, the Supreme Court are those judges who gather in a very fancy building where even the bathrooms are made of marble and every stall comes equipped with a roll of crinkly brown paper with "We the People" written on it. But left-wingers use the phrase completely differently than human beings. When a leftist refers to the Supreme Court, he's thinking of a magical gathering of 5 caring judges who magically create laws out of the caring, magical goodness of their hearts over the objection of 4 mean, uncaring judges who only want to uphold the nasty Constitution that made black people 3/5 of a human being by stealing the other 2/5 of their body parts to assemble slaves. The 5 magical judges are appointed on the basis of how much they care, because caring gives them the magic caring power by which they create caring magical laws that take all your rights away. Another word leftists use differently than people is investment. For most of us, an investment is when you take the money you earned and put it in a business you believe in so the business can thrive and your money increase. For a leftist, an investment is when they take the money you earned and make a speech about poor people and then give the money to their powerful friends so that the leftists get reelected. This explains another word leftists use differently, greedy. Let's say you go to work for 40 or more hours a week and are paid money for that work, and then leftists come with guns and take the money away from you to give to their friends so they can get reelected. And you say, "Hey, wait, stop, you stinking thief, that's my money." Now you're greedy because you're stopping them from making an investment so they can get reelected and appoint judges to the Supreme Court who care enough to take all your rights away. I hope these explanations will ease tensions between our two sides by helping conservatives understand that deep down, when you come to think of it, your left-wing neighbor or coworker or friend is really just like you. Except evil. Trigger warning, I'm Andrew Klavan, and this is The Andrew Klavan Show.
I feel hunky-dunky, life is tickety-boo. Birds are winging, also singing hunky-dunky-doo. Ship-shape, tipsy-topsy, the world is zippity-zing. It's a wonderful day, hurrah, hooray! It makes me want to sing. Oh, hurrah, hooray! Oh, hooray, hurrah!
The Andrew Klavan Singers, ladies and gentlemen, and they're here with us today. And this is it, the last show before the Klavanless weekend. And also like one more week to the election. This is it. Man. And then after that, we're just going to sit here and kind of stare into the camera like this. Because there'll be nothing left to say. But you can get through the Klavanless weekend by Eric Metaxas did an hour-long interview with me on his show. And so if you search that on SoundCloud or just search it on Google Klavan Metaxas, it will come up and you can listen to that. Or you can actually just go out and get my book, The Great Good Thing. A Secular Jew Comes to Faith in Christ. You can just read that. And, they have those marketing gimmicks that they have with books. This one comes with a special aura of protection. So when you read it, this little ball of light surrounds you and protects you through the Klavanless weekend. Did anybody buy that? I don't know. No, I don't. All right. So we had a good time last night, right? We all went to the Dennis Prager, not all of us, but we went to this very, very fancy party to celebrate Dennis Prager University's getting like a gazillion hits on their 150 million hits on their videos. And lest you think I go to these parties all the time, let me tell you how I got invited. Because I did Dave Rubin's show. I did an interview on Dave Rubin's show, and he's a really good guy. And he says, "So you going to the Prager thing?" And I said, "No, I didn't get invited by my friends who I work with every day. Why?" And he said, "Well, I'll get you invited." So he goes in. And so I thought, good, Rubin's going to get me invited by these guys. So then I start getting tweets from him. He's sending me those, direct message tweets, and he's saying, So did you get invited yet? You get invited yet? I'm starting to get embarrassed. Hey, listen, I'm very centered within myself. I don't mind my good friends who I see and work with every day don't invite me to their fancy party. That doesn't bother me. That doesn't hurt me. So finally, I told Ruben I was going to just go and stand outside with my nose pressed against the glass, going, "Please, sir, could you just send out some food? The wind is so bitter cold." It would just a little bit. So finally, they broke down and they invite. All right, show up. But you just show you how happy they were to have me there. They seated me with Shapiro because everybody from the Daily Wire is on one table, like right in front of the dais, and Shapiro is like the never Trumper, and Prager supports Trump. So Shapiro's sitting out by like the restroom, and like they let me sit next to him. And so, but it was a lovely, lovely evening, and it is a really major accomplishment. Prager has done a wonderful thing, and the only thing I would say is that they did neglect to thank Jonathan Hay, our own beloved producer, and the God King of the Daily Wire, Jeremy Boring, who really have given these videos their look and tend to them and put them out, and they really do look, original and creative, and they're just a way of teaching people basic principles of American life and Judeo-Christian ethics and all this stuff. And Prager got up and he gave this speech, which I really liked because it wasn't, Prager can be very, what's the word I'm looking for? He can really bring the intellectual goods. He can really deliver an intellectual speech that sets out his opinions here, and here. But he didn't do that. He came out and made a kind of sentimental speech about what he'd been trying to do his whole life and how touched he was that everybody showed up. And he made this one point that really reached me, where he talked about the fact that conservatives are at a disadvantage because conservatives tend to be happier than left-wingers. And you only have to take a look at it. I mean, every survey shows this, but you really only have to look at them to see that this is true. And he said, happy people don't want to fight. You don't want to fight. You like your wife. You like your job. You like what you're doing. You like your life. You like life itself. You like America. Why would you go out and fight? And I really do believe that's true because I have never looked for a fight. And the only thing that keeps dropping me into the soup is that it's never occurred to me to not say what I was thinking. I say this, I know this sounds a little funny, but I have really good manners. I was just raised with really good manners, and so I'm never rude to anybody, but it never occurs to me to not say what I'm seeing right in front of me, and that has become the problem. Now in fact, this is Prager's new video is about this very thing. So play this. This is our friend Kim Strassel, who brought out this great book, The Intimidation Game, talking about what it's like to be in America under leftism.
This is the United States of America. You are totally free to express your political views. No one is going to tell you what you can say or how you can say it, right? But what if you thought you'd be audited by the IRS, or have your business boycotted, or even lose your job? Would you speak freely then? This isn't a hypothetical question. It's happening to Americans right now. It's what I call the intimidation game. The object of this very real game is to make political opponents pay a high price for expressing their opinions. It was a standard technique in the Jim Crow South in the 1950s. It was used by racist Southern Democrats to shut up black civil rights groups like the NAACP. And now these tactics have been revived and improved upon by today's Democratic Party and their allies on the progressive left. They want to shut up conservatives, just like racists once wanted to shut up blacks and their liberal supporters. They do it in three ways. First, they harass. Second, they investigate and prosecute. And third, they blackmail.
And why and this is becoming so pervasive that it's not, we think about it on the universities, and I'll talk about that in a second, but it's really everywhere. And why do they do it? Because the old joke is that leftists want conservatives to shut up and conservatives want leftists to keep talking because they know they can't win the argument. Everything they touch turns to garbage. And so if you point it out, then you're racist and sexist and you're this and that. And those are just other ways. All those things just translate into shut up. That's all they mean. When somebody calls you a racist, it doesn't mean you hate people of different races. Somebody calls you a sexist, doesn't mean you're unfair to women. It just means shut up or we'll shame you. Scott Adams, the guy who does those Dilbert cartoons, very funny Dilbert cartoons, he's been kind of like talking about this election from a point of view of persuasion and the way psychologically. Then I think it was yesterday, he just went nuts. he got attacked. And listen to this. This is on Scott Adams' blog. He says, I've been trying to figure out what common trait binds Clinton supporters together. As far as I can tell, the most unifying characteristic is a willingness to bully in all its forms. If you have a Trump sign in your lawn, they will steal it. If you have a Trump bumper sticker, they will deface your car. If you speak of Trump at work, you could get fired. On social media, almost every message I get from a Clinton supporter is a bullying type of message. They insult, they try to shame, they label, and obviously, they threaten my livelihood. We know from Project Veritas that Clinton supporters try to incite violence at Trump rallies. The media downplays it. We also know Clinton's side hired paid trolls to bully online. You don't hear much about that. Yesterday, by no coincidence, Huffington Post, Salon, and Daily Kos all published similar-sounding hit pieces on me, presumably to lower my influence. Joe Biden said he wanted to take Trump behind the bleachers and beat him up. Let's play the Joe Biden clip.
I have not wanted to get into, if you notice in the national press, talking about Trump's behavior, his personal behavior. But what he said he did and does is a textbook definition of sexual assault. And think about this. But it's more than that. He said, because I'm famous, because I'm a star, because I'm a billionaire, I can do things other people can't. What a disgusting assertion for anyone to make. The press always asks me, don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school, I could take him behind the gym. That's what I wish.
First of all, I don't want to glamorize violence, but Donald Trump would bounce Joe Biden down the street like a basketball. You know, that would not be a fair fight. And you know, it's the essence of bullying. What he said there is the essence of bullying is that might makes right. I can beat you up, therefore I'm right, and it doesn't matter what you say. I mean, that is the essence of what they are doing. So anyway, Scott Adams goes on and on. He's just furious, and at the end he says, "I'm endorsing Trump, and Trump is going to win," and he really goes after him. And this whole thing, you know, it is emanating. The place we see it most is in the colleges. And I want you to watch this video that Chico State out here in California put out. This is the Chico State Athletic Department puts out this video telling you what you should and shouldn't say. And if you can, I know you may be listening, you may not be watching, pay close attention to the progression of the things that you can't say and watch how it goes, because it is the left in a nutshell.
I don't say retarded.
It's insulting to people with disabilities, and that's not cool.
It's an offensive word, and a mental disability doesn't define who you are.
I don't say the N-word. Growing up, my mom taught me about the history of the word and the meaning behind it and how it's derogatory to people with my skin color. It's one of those words that just cuts really deep into your skin and just makes you feel like less of a human being, I guess.
I don't say man up. As a female athlete, I don't appreciate terminology that is used to degrade women.
I don't use the word spaz. My cousin has disabilities he cannot control. He grew up right down the street from me, and we were best friends. All throughout high school, he was picked on, and I believe that word is derogatory towards him.
I don't say the word rape because even the hardest of workouts don't compare to the trauma of sexual assault.
I don't say run like a girl.
I don't say throw like a girl.
Doing things like a girl shouldn't be an insult.
Because I'm a firm believer that gender does not define an athlete.
I'm gonna run, swim, and throw to the best of my abilities, and being a girl has nothing to do with that.
I don't say you're a part of a woman's body should never be used as a connotation for weakness.
I don't say, what are you? Growing up, being both black and white, I've always had to struggle with fitting in on one side or the other. I'd rather people judge me based on who I am than my ethnicity.
Okay, we're going to unpack that in a minute, but first we have to say goodbye to our friends on Facebook and YouTube. You can come over to the Daily Wire or download us on iTunes and SoundCloud, or you could subscribe if you weren't so damn cheap. You subscribe, you get a month for free. I think are we still giving away Ben's book? Yeah. You get Shapiro's novel, True Allegiance. It's very, very entertaining, and you can do all those things and watch us on the Daily Wire. But right now, you got to come on over to the Daily Wire and hear the rest of the show.